Hi everybody. I think I need to go to Book Buyers Anonymous. Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. My name is Brianna and this is For a Positive Book. I make bookish videos over here on my little corner of the internet. So if that's something that you're interested in, make sure that you hit the subscribe button down below. Today I have a book haul for you. It's not a problem. It's not a problem. It's big. It's 28 books. That's fine. Some of them were birthday presents. Some of them were gifts. I did buy books. It's just a thing, okay? Here we are. I am going to say that I read a lot of books from my own TBR this month. We're at 17 books that I have read for this month, and I'm actually filming it a little bit early. So it might even be more than that by the end. We'll see next month. So that being said, let's just talk about the books. I don't have them separated out by gifts and things that I bought. I have them separated out by genre. So if it is a gift, I will just mention it. But we started our month out with 267 books. But like I said, I've read 17 books off of my own TBR. So we're back down to 250. Will that number go up? Yes, because I have more than 17 books to talk to you about. I do have plans for 2024 for like book buying and how I'm going to be approaching that, because like I want to balance, right? I like buying books and I'm never going to put myself on a book buying ban, but it is a little bit out of control at this point. 250 books that I have on my shelves that are unread is a lot of books. So I kind of want to manage it in a way that it's still interesting for me to have new books on my shelves, but also to get through some of these. So let's talk about the books that I have read. So let's talk about the books that I have hauled that I have already read. Most of these were actually gifts. So we have Fake Dates and Mooncakes by Cher Lee. This was a gift, but it did not have a note. So thank you so much to whoever got this one for me. This one was absolutely adorable. It is a YA queer romance. It's adorable. It has a cooking element to it. It has a little corgi who is adorable. I had such a good time reading this one. Then we have Work For It by Talia Hibbert. I read this one actually several years ago, but I read it on ebook or audiobook and I really wanted a physical copy, so I had it on my wish list. But this was also a gift, so thank you so much. This is just a stunning cover. And this is also a queer romance. It's a Grumpy Sunshine. They had a thing and then shows up the next day and it's the boss. It's a whole thing. And there is fantastic pan representation in this. Then we have Athena by Nino Cipri. I read this during Face Off weekend and absolutely loved it, so I bought this and then also the second one. But this one I haven't read yet. This was 4.5 stars and I really enjoyed it. It's kind of like if an IKEA had a portal universe inside of it. And so it's an interesting like conversation about like capitalism and employee exploitation, and then also portal universes, and it's a lot in this tiny little book, but I had a good time with this one. And then lastly from Deb, I got Red Rising by Pierce Brown. I have read this book, but I haven't continued on with the series, and I had a really ugly paperback copy that had like a rip in the cover, and so I'm really happy to have a beautiful cover to be able to display. This is a first book in a like sci-fi fantasy type book. It's got a military element to it. They are like terraforming Mars, but then they realize that Mars has already been terraformed and they are using the Reds, which is the lowest tier of people, as essentially slaves. And it's all about a revolution. So those are the books that I have read. The rest of them I haven't. It's fine. Let's just talk about this one first. This is the second one to Fina. This is Defect. I really want to read this one as soon as possible, and it might get read by the end of August. I don't know. But this follows another character that is in Fina that I really liked in that book, so excited to hear his story. And then kind of a horror thriller. I got Ararat by Christopher Golden. I got this one on one of my recent trips to Barnes & Noble, and this is about a couple of hikers that reveal what they think is Noah's Ark, and then there's a coffin or like a tomb essentially inside that ark, and there's something inside of it. I am going to be reading this one in either September or October. I have a video planned for this and another one that's kind of a similar premise, so look forward to that. Now let's talk about some romance. First up we have Icebreaker. This was also a gift. This is by Hannah Grace, and this is a hockey romance. And this book has been all over Book Talk. I don't really actually know what it's about, but it's, you know, a figure skater and a hockey player that I assume have to get along, and they're probably gonna hate each other. I don't know. So they're forced to share the ice together, and then obviously like tensions are going to rise. It's gonna be a good time. I've heard really good things about this one. Michelle from Michelle's Library read it last year and really, really loved it. So this could be a book that I read during Rom-Comathon, because one of the prompts for that is a sports romance. Then we have Better Than Fiction by Alexa Martin. I found this one on a Barnes & Noble BOGO table, and I really like Alexa Martin's sports romances, and this one just looked so cute. This is about a guy who inherits a bookstore. He's not really a bookish person. The movie's always better, he says. And then we have a best-selling author who is a hopeless romantic, meets the main character at a signing event, and sparks are gonna fly. So, you know, it's a romance. I picked up Teach Me by Olivia Dade. This is going to be the group book for Rom-Comathon, so I'll definitely be reading it next month. But this is about two teachers, and like she wants to hate the guy because he took her the class that she wanted to teach, but he's, you know, a golden retriever, so you can't hate that. It's a stunning, stunning cover. I cannot get over how beautiful she is, and I'm really excited about this one. I picked up Emily McIntyre's two newest ones. So we have Twisted. This is an Aladdin reimagining, and then her newest one is Crossed, and this is a Hunchback of Notre Dame. I've heard amazing things about this one. Neva from Reading with Neva just recently read it and absolutely loved it. So very excited to read these. I still need to read Wretched though. That one needed to be read in August and didn't get done. So we will see. So we'll see when I get to these, but I am very hopeful for them. Another rom-com that I will likely read during Rom-Comathon is Business for Pleasure by Rachel Lynn Solomon. This is her newest one, and again, I've heard fantastic things about this. I didn't love Weather Girl, which is the only other book that I've read by Rachel Lynn Solomon, but I've heard fantastic things about this one. And this is about a ghostwriter, I believe, question mark. A ghostwriter and a struggling actor help each other on the page and in the bedroom in this steamy romantic comedy. I have high hopes for it. Michelle and I usually have really similar tastes when it comes to romances, and she 5-starred this one, so we shall see. And then I went to Barnes & Noble yesterday, actually, and I picked up two books that were BOGO. I picked up Cruel Seduction by Katie Robert. This is the next book in the Neon Gods series, the Dark Olympus. That's it. This one is another poly story. Katie Robert does poly stories so well, but this is Aphrodite and Hephaestus, and also Pandora and Adonis. I don't know why I haven't read it yet. This one is also the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition, so it has a bonus scene, I think. I don't remember what the bonus scene was. This one came out in early August, and I still haven't read it yet, and I, you know, should probably do that. And then lastly, I picked up Saint by Sierra Simone. I think this is actually the third book in the Priest series, but they didn't have Sinner on the BOGO table. They had this one, so I'm gonna collect them all anyway. But this is a queer male-male romance, which is super exciting. Sierra has like a lot of queer romances, a lot of queer characters in her stories. Looking forward to it. All right, my battery died, so the angle may have changed a little bit. Apologize for that. Let's move on to fantasy. First up, I have Hearts Lost by Meredith Hart. This was a book that was sent to me kindly by the author. This is one of the SPFBO books that I read and really enjoyed. It was a really good time, fantasy romance, lots of witty banter and dialogue and snarky characters. It was fun. It unfortunately did not make the semifinalist, but I still highly recommend this book. If you want to check out my like in-depth thoughts about it and also my announcement of my semifinalist, I will leave the link up above. Then I got Dragonfall by L.R. Lamb. This is a dragon story. I don't know. Long ago, humans betrayed dragons, stealing their magic and banishing them to a dying world. Centuries later, their descendants worship dragons as gods, but the gods remember, they do not forgive. This kind of pairs my two favorite things, which is dragons and religion. And if you make a religion of dragons, that just sounds fantastic. So I am highly anticipating this book. I have heard some really mixed reviews on it, and some people were really bored by it. So I'm scared, but I still definitely want to read this book as soon as possible. And it kind of like has a spooky vibe to it, so it might happen during spooky season. I bought Little Thieves by Margaret Owen. This is a book that Margaret has been screaming from the rooftops for a really long time. I really wanted to read it during Amazing Readathon. It didn't end up happening, so I will still be reading it very soon, but unfortunately did not get read this month. This is a retelling of The Goose Girl, which is a fairy tale that I'm not as familiar with, but it has a fantasy romance to it. The characters are demisexual, which is not representation that you see a lot of. So I have high hopes for this book. Again, Margaret loves this book. I don't know that it's going to be like my perfect blend of book, but I do think that there might be some aspects into this book where I really connect to, and then I will attach myself to this book. So a couple of months ago, I bought The Tiger at Midnight that I didn't read it. But I found The Archer at Dawn, which is the second book in the series, on Pango for super, super cheap. And so I had to pick it up. It's a really pretty book. Like, her covers are stunning. And I don't want to read the synopsis for this one because obviously I haven't read the first book and that would spoil it. But this one is Indian-inspired fantasy, like Indian lore, and I believe Hindu-inspired. I haven't read the first book, again, but this is an author that's going to be at a Polycon, so I would really like to read this series. So I might do like a series binge video where I read those two and then also the third one. Another book I really wanted to read in the month was His Majesty's Dragon by Naomi Novik. This is the first book in the Temeraire series. Cassie from Covers with Cassidy read this book and didn't like it, but like a lot of the things that she said about the book, I was like, oh, but I could enjoy that. So I went and bought it. I have no self-control. It's fine. This is a short book, so it's not like a super long epic fantasy. And it's obviously got a dragon. And it's about a man who like is the captain of a ship, and he is like he finds a dragon egg and he is like transporting the dragon egg, and then obviously like it becomes a dragon. That's as eggs do. So I think it's gonna be like a man and his dragon story. And I enjoy those. Another gift was House of Hunger by Alexis Henderson. This is a vampire horror fantasy story about a girl who goes to live at like this rich person's home, which I guess is a vampire, and essentially like becomes a blood maid, and like basically her blood is used for the family. This is definitely a book for spooky season. I have a video project in mind for this, so very excited about it. And then the last fantasy, I found the third book in the Daughter of No World series. I can't remember the War of Lost Hearts. There we go. It's right there on the cover. But this is Mother of Death and Dawn. So Serpent in the Wings of Night just got picked up traditionally, and I really wanted to make sure that I had the indie covers before they changed. This series has not been picked up traditionally yet, but I just wanted to make sure because, listen. Can we discuss this cover? It's stunning. So I wanted to make sure I had it. This is like a brick. Like, you could murder someone with this book. But this is the third book in the Daughter of No World series. I have not read the second one yet. It made my September TBR. So I don't want to read the synopsis of this one yet because I don't want to spoil it. But it's the third and final book in the series, so I'll be able to complete a trilogy once I read it. I don't foresee myself reading it prior to spooky season ending, but who knows, because if I just absolutely love Children of the Fallen Gods, I might just binge the rest of the series. We'll see. Lastly, I have a couple of book boxes that I wanted to shout out. The first one is Book of the Month. I'm not an affiliate with them, but I do have a code down below if you would like to sign up for Book of the Month. It's in the US and Canada, and I believe the current promotion is that like you get a box or a book for $5, if I remember correctly. I don't know, click on the link. You get a book, I get a book. It's something like that. But I got 2 books in the month of August because I had my free like birthday month. So we got Family Lore by Elizabeth Acevedo. This is her adult debut, and I love her YA stuff despite not really loving YA. So I'm really, really excited to see how she does aged up to adult. This is a multi-generational family story that she does so well. It takes place in both Santo Domingo and New York City. So this is one that, again, I really wanted to read in during Amazing Read Aloud. Didn't end up happening. And then I also got Just Another Missing Person by Gillian McAllister. I have not read Wrong Place, Wrong Time, which is their first book, but this one I've heard a lot of good things about. And it says, his weapon isn't a gun or a knife, it's a secret. Her worst one. This says it's a heart-stopping thriller in which a missing person case unravels deeper, darker secrets that hit too close to home and can lead only to more danger for the detective and an impossible moral choice. So that was my book of the month. I also decided I wanted to try Aardvark this month. And there was a deal going on and you got your first book for like $4. And so did I buy just one? No, I bought 3. It's fine. I just wanted to see how it was. I hadn't tried Aardvark since the first month, and I'm really, really impressed with them. Not only their selection, because there were some books that I have never heard of before, but also the quality of the books. These books are like sturdy, right? So the first one I got was Mr. Magic by Kirsten White. I read Hyde. I hated it, but I'm really hopeful that this one is going to be better. But this is about former child stars that were on a show, and they reunite to uncover the tragedy that ended their show and discover the secret of its enigmatic host. So that sounds like fun. Then I got The Chateau by Jacqueline Goldis. This is just really pretty. And this is about a haunted house and people that are going back to this haunted house, I think like for a sorority thing, potentially, don't remember. They're going back like 20 years later, and things are unraveling and they are, you know, coming to light. And then I had never heard of this book, and it was a complete cover by, but The Memory of Animals by Claire Fuller. Stunning. This is a dystopian, I believe. It's a pandemic book. I believe it has to do with like your memories being lost. And then there's like this drug trial and all these other things. I don't know. I think it's going to be kind of like a literary sci-fi. And I don't read a lot of that, but it's really pretty. And then I got the Unplugged book box for this month. I got it because it had the Night Circus stuff in it. It didn't have as much Night Circus stuff as I wanted, which is a real bummer. And like it wasn't, I thought it was gonna be like fully Night Circus themed. It wasn't. But the two books, never heard of them before, but they're gorgeous and like very sturdy books. So we have Reset and then the prequel, which is Preset. Like they're stunning books. They look like they're just gorgeous. And this is about a society where like there's different factions of people. There's a last war destroyed most of the world. Survivors form a new society in 4 self-sustaining cities in the Mojave Desert. In the utopia of the 4 cities, inspired by the lyrics of Imagine and Buddhist philosophy, everything is carefully planned and controlled, to the seasons, the weather, and the residents. To prevent mankind from destroying each other again, its citizens undergo a memory wipe every 4 years in a process called the tabula rasa, a blank slate, to remove learned prejudices. With each new cycle, they begin again with new names, jobs, homes, and lives. No memories, no attachments, no wars. That sounds really interesting. This is a prequel to it, but I think you read this first. I don't know, I need to look it up, but okay, this is beautiful. The cover is beautiful. The end pages are absolutely gorgeous. There's a sign, like a sticker for the signature that you can put in, but listen, look at that. It's stunning. All right, so that brings us up to 273 books. They're unread, physical unread books on my shelf. That's a lot of books. It's fine. Let me know down in the comments below a book that you saw here that you thought I would enjoy. If you're not feeling chatty, you can do the book stack emoji. I am currently surrounded by a bunch of book stacks. That is all I have for you today. If you're new here and you have not yet subscribed, there's a little button that you can do so down below the video. If you'd like to hang out with me more, the links to my Instagram, Goodreads, Twitter, and my Patreon are linked in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!